Okay, it is February 2nd, 2026. Wasn't really intending to do a video, but we have some decent light right now, and I'm noticing some of this stuff is starting to wake up and still go to sleep a little bit, the figs here, but blackberries starting to bud out, so that's kind of good to see. Seedling tomato. This was just a volunteer, probably from a bird deposit. Some sort of sapote. This is either a mame sapote seedling or possibly a green sapote seedling, but I think it's a mame. Made it through winter okay, but we had a very, very mild winter, so that's not saying a whole lot this year. The Barbados cherry does just fine in the winter. Probably will start fruiting or flowering, I don't know, end of February, March. Yehuda loquat here. Got a fair amount of flowers and some fruit that's set, which is nice to see because it's a few-year-old tree and it's only fruited one other time, so maybe it's just established now and it's getting happy. Hopefully this will be a regular occurrence going forward. Not all the flowers pollinated apparently, but there's some fruit on there. Bananas, which we always thought were blue java, we're now thinking might just be Namwa. We don't really know, but they don't seem to have the fruit that matches up exactly to what we would expect from a blue java, which is kind of obnoxious considering that's what we paid for. We bought two of them actually, and I think they both have the same type of fruit, so I don't know if it was a scammer or a mistake. Either way. Papaya, we got quite a bit of fruit off this last year. Has made it through winter okay. Some of the old leaves are drying up, but it looks really good and happy at the top up there. And definitely has quite a bit of fruit, probably, I don't know, 10 papayas growing on it right now, and it's actively flowering. Green sapote has made it through winter okay, up to this point anyhow. I mean, it's possible we'll get some cold, but it's not likely this year. It is finally branching out a little bit, but very slow growing, so hopefully it'll pick up here now that it's getting more established. Namdok Mai, doing well, no problems getting through winter. One of the grafts on it, which was a Southern Blush, which I put very low because I was just practicing grafting and it actually took, is flowering, and this is about a 5-year-old, mother plant, so I don't know, we might just let it hold that fruit if it decides to do so. So little lychee hasn't done a lot, but it is starting to put a little bit of growth on, so hopefully it's getting established and we'll start putting on some actual size. Lots of seedlings. These are from a tropic snow peach, which is just a white freestone peach. Stuck the seeds in the fridge last summer, probably July, and then I only pulled them out about 2 weeks ago or so and stuck them in pots, and they actually all started flowering. So I haven't grown peaches from seeds on purpose before, so we'll see how they turn out. I'm really curious. Some little dragon fruit. This was given to me by a friend. That was a seedling. And then just some other ones that were clippings, and they seem to be doing okay, and they're actually starting to push a little bit here, so we're new to dragon fruit, figuring it out as we go. Peanut butter tree. We got, I don't know, probably a half a dozen fruit off it this last year, so not overly productive, but something different. I won't save that spot for it if I have a really good other option. A little purple kaimito grown from seed. Made it through this mild winter, no problem. Little star fruit over there. Some white seedling and mango seedling. A small cherimoya seedling. So this is, I don't know, going to be a tight area if the stuff makes it. This Confederate rose is really just here as a decorative, and it does provide some summer shade, so we'll keep it for now. More white sapote seedlings. Lucy dog. Lemon zest mango graft we did last May. Took and actually grew very well. Hugged it at the top, it split off about perfectly, so there's 4 branches on there, so I'm really happy about that. The rest of this seedling is the Kent. Just a store-bought mango, but it's grown well, and interestingly, it's pretty bright out here. I don't know if we'll be able to see that, but it is trying to flower. It's 4 years old, I believe now. In ground anyways. So we'll see what happens with that. I'm not really expecting it to hold it. A Talfo seedling. Survived winter just fine. Very leggy. We've tried to cut it back and get it to branch out, and it just refuses to do so. Every time it sends up one new leader. Kahala longan, getting up to about the 5 foot height now. It's been growing pretty well. A little bug on there. It does try to fruit in the spring. And we've been clipping it off, just trying to get it to, get into a bigger tree first. So we'll probably continue to do that for another year or two. Seedling loquat. So no idea what to expect out of that guy, but it's growing well. Leftover damage from last summer. It really does not like the sun here, but made it through, and then lots of new fresh growth, as well as one Yehuda seedling that I grafted on there just as practice, and it took. So I should probably snip off all the other branches around it so that one gets the vigor and has a chance of actually growing. We'll have at least one good fruiting branch on that guy. So coconut cream mango, as in previous videos, it's just a lanky, weird looking tree. Grows like an octopus. Always tries to fruit very heavily, but doesn't produce a lot of actual good growth. So I'm going to be taking some scions off of this and putting them on that mango right there, as well as another one in the spring. More little seedlings. I'll probably try grafting from my Campbell white sapote onto these ones. Put an African Pride in Adamoya this late fall, I think it was, when I put that in there. So we'll see how that does. Love the fruit. Crazy expensive when I can find it here in Phoenix. So we'll see how it does. Yeah, more seedlings, experiments. These are a purple orchid tree, which I don't see as much as the Hong Kong orchid, but they have kind of a white purple flower on them. Very pretty, easy to grow from seed. So I'm trying to find a good spot in the yard to put them. I'll probably sell a couple of them as well. These were two I put in the ground because this bottle tree behind it kept getting cooked every summer and looking terrible. And then this last summer it actually did super well. So now I don't know what to do, but we'll just let those grow, and at some point we'll either keep them or dig them up. The dwarf Namwa banana put out its first flower this winter. It has some beautiful little flowers on it, which are very different than the full-size blue Java / Namwa that we have over there. So we'll compare the fruit and see what's better. These ones actually are almost bigger already, and they're still much younger. So I don't know. These are good. Hopefully they'll send out more pups and we can propagate this, and maybe we'll even get rid of that big banana. The rest of the yard over here is all dormant. Grapes, pomegranates, the Spice Z Nectaplum, which grows like crazy but is barely fruited, but it's getting quite a few buds on it, so maybe this will be the year. Panache Tiger Fig, trimmed it back a little bit here, gonna let that one grow a little bit larger. What we think is a Cadota produces a lot of big, yellow, very honey sweet fruit. Not really deep profile flavor, but a lot of it. And then just a seedling, probably Haas avocado. Kind of stuck it over here. It gets summer shade from the fig and did actually pretty well. A little chlorotic there. I don't know if that's from the cold or what exactly, but it's February now, so we'll be fertilizing it soon. More grapes. I think we're going to pull this one out though, because we've had it a long time. It barely fruits. I think he gets too much summer shade from the this larger tree. And we have a seedling purple passion fruit that is a fruiting type. So I think we're going to put that in there instead. And an apple tree, barely even has gone dormant this winter. Just not cold enough. The Mignola Tangelo, doing okay. It's been kind of a funky tree. Didn't fruit. It only had one fruit this year. It was big and good, but it's slow to produce. I don't know if it has some leaf miners in there and had some sort of a fungusy thing. I think we mostly got out of control with some copper spray, but it's not the world's happiest little tree. I don't know. We'll see. We'll keep it for now. Tropic sweet apple, also not really all the way dormant. Screwy little tree. Produced no apples last year. Quite a few the year before, but they were very hard, almost inedible. You might be able to bake them, but that was about it. So this spring will be its last try. If it doesn't do well this year, it's going to be removed because I don't have enough space just to keep ones for the hell of it. This is the Campbell White Sapote, which has grown really vigorously. It's branched out well at the top here. Has 4 maybe nice branches. Gets a little bit unhappy in the midsummer, but as it gets more established, I expect it to take over more. These low branches I normally would trim off, but I'm keeping these for seedling grafting projects. So we'll probably be doing those in the next month. And then we'll only keep the ones that are maybe here, which is say 3 feet high and up, and get rid of the low branches. Yorzane almond tree. We had a guava over here that just never did very well. Was not healthy, died. So put this in, get a little less fruit and a little more nut action going in the yard. Santa Rosa plum, weeping variety, screwy growth habit. Gets a lot of pretty flowers, hasn't produced a lot of fruit, maybe 20 fruit last year, and they were very small, but we're hoping as it gets more established that'll improve. And then tropic pink guava here, growing really big. A little bit of the heat or cold stress normally gets much worse than this, but we've barely gotten into the low 30s this winter so far. And it just has not been knocked back at all. Alright, we'll go to the front yard and do a quick one there. Okay, pick up. This is the tropic snow peach tree. We've been trying to jump on the pruning because normally we don't have to do that until sometime later in February. But with the warm temperatures, everything has decided to go crazy blooming. So we've actually done a fair amount of pruning on it, but there's a lot more that has to be done to thin this out. So I got to hop on that today. The Royal Poinciana, not a fruiting tree, but really pretty foliage, and hopefully it will be big shade tree here. And they don't like the cold, but since we hardly got any this year, it's been very happy. Hardly died back at all. Just a little bit of old leaf fall, and that's about it. So looks great. The Florida Prince, probably our favorite eating peach, and it's gone crazy as well. Just buds everywhere, and it has been thin, but it needs more. Just snuck up on us. These blooms, there were probably a 1/10 of that 4 days ago. They've just opened up like crazy. So beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Smell really nice as well, so that's kind of cool to see. As long as we don't get a hard frost in the next few weeks, we should be fine on those, even though they came very early. The second Tiger Panache fig tree, I have not pruned this one yet, but I need to get on it since everything's waking up. Hong Kong orchid tree, planted this last spring and it grew a lot. I actually topped it because it was growing kind of unevenly. Not fruit, of course, but beautiful, beautiful flowers. Gets a little beat up in the midsummer, but it flowers at least twice a year. These started coming out in December, and it's February now, and it's still getting some. Well, a lot actually, and there's a lot more that are still waiting to open. It'll probably flower again in maybe the May time frame, I think is when it did last year. So yeah, awesome tree. Very pretty leaves as well. They look like butterflies. So the Primark Freedom Blackberry, I didn't trim this one back a lot this year because I just wanted to see how it would do as far as fruit production, letting it go a little bit wilder. And it's grown pretty big. I probably will need to trim it some. Taking over. There's a nice little spot for a tree in there, so I'm actually need to figure out what I want to plant there and get that going. Another Cherimoya seedling here, as well as a volunteer seedling papaya, some sort of a red one. So I don't know if it's a red lady or what exactly it was. Tom Cord grape. This was in a pot. I had 2 of them. No real good place to put it, so I just stuck it out here this winter, and it has water, and I'll let it grow over that little pony wall. And then, we may move it later. Desert gold peach tree. This one is always a little behind the others as far as flowering and fruiting, and that's holding true this year as well. Probably gets a little bit less sun because it's more to the east side of the yard. It's very vigorous. I need to trim it back more than I have actually. It gets a lot of fruit on it, and it's kind of a troublemaker, breaks branches and stuff. The mulberry, Pakistan mulberry, did not even go remotely dormant this year. So I'm gonna have to trim that thing back quite a lot. And that'll promote fruiting. So we'll do that here soon. The Keat mango seedling, no cover at all for winter, and it's in an area that gets 0 sun in the winter. So I'm actually surprised how well it's done. But again, it hasn't been that cold. So grew a lot this last summer. I'm hopeful this summer it'll do the same, and maybe we'll get it up to 5 or 6 feet by the end of the year. Juro persimmon, very dormant still, but it's got buds. It'll probably start opening up here this month at some point. The Rio Red grapefruit, which flowered like crazy last spring and then got a little beat up over the summer. The watering wasn't great, so we added some water, a little bit of mulch. Hopefully it'll take off and start actually vegetatively growing. Peter's honey fig, goofy fig tree, has grown some, definitely kind of a dwarf all by itself. I haven't had to trim it very much. Produces a lot of fruit, but not very much that actually is very edible. So we need to, I don't know, I guess just give it more time. Acadie apricot, still dormant. It's grown a lot. Started pruning and thinning. Because the fruit on it's so small, you don't have to thin them nearly as much as the peaches. But I do need to thin it, and hopefully that'll increase the size of the fruit, because there's a lot of them, but they're very small. So we have a little time on that one. It's not in a big rush to wake up, unlike the peach trees. All right, well, I think that's about it. Have a good day.